Hello and welcome back to another TYG Talks. This week I'm being joined by GG Chester and EatPrayLoot. Welcome on in. How are we all doing?
We're traumatized. That was a film.
Very.
Or would you say you were traumatized?
Ha ha!
Yuck, 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 yuck. Because we have been watching the 2006 trauma films Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. I laugh because I want to cry, honestly.
Yeah, I gotta admit, this was my first experience with trauma films. Gotta say, hoping it's probably my last. Because, oh boy.
Same here. It's definitely unique.
Yeah. So before we get into this film is every kind of ism and ist you can think of. It is purposefully offensive. It is gory. It is over the top.
Racist, ableist, religionist, yeah, homophobic. You name an identity, it probably offended them.
Yeah.
It certainly went after everyone and everything, that's for sure.
There were some really, really 2006 humor jokes. A lot of obsession with butt stuff and toilet humor and everything else you can think of. But aside
Did we
from
mention
that,
it's a musical?
and it's also a musical. Okay.
Yep.
So, disclaimer aside, we're gonna try and talk about this. Poultrygeist is the story of a guy who's in love with a girl who goes off to college, and when they meet up again, she has become a lesbian and is protesting a chicken place that has been placed on a ancient Native American burial ground. The Tomahawk tribe. And so to get back at her, he decides to apply for a job at said chicken place, and well, that's where everything starts to go horribly wrong.
Yeah, it certainly does. That's pretty much the start of where they start offending people. She joins a protest group where the acronym was CLAM. Collegiate Lesbians Against Mega Conglomerates. So they just protest all big corpos, which, hey, we've got no problems with that. But when you're typecasting lesbians as that, it gets a bit weird, gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right, so... so the thing is, the jokes that they made, like, will probably get us all cancelled. But, like, it's... Some of them were just done with such comedic timing. And like, there was always, like, a random poop joke, like, in the middle of it. And it was just, the writing was impeccable. It was offensive as heck. But there was some really good writing in there. And, like, we said this afterwards, like, will we get cancelled for, like, saying we enjoyed watching this? Because, like... It was a fun ride, but every so often you're just like, oh no. No.
It's a 50-50, I felt like. Like, half the jokes we were audibly cringing at as they were coming out, because it was like, ooh, you can't say that. Ooh, you can't do that. And then the other half got genuine chuckles. You know, got genuine laughs out of us. The non-offensive stuff was decent. It was just the offensive stuff was offensive.
Very, very.
Very.
And so many boobies.
Yeah.
So many.
So many.
Yeah, this is not a film you take your kids to. There is at least
Definitely not.
7 scenes with full frontal female nudity, and at least 4 scenes with guys' butts well on display. Or some description.
It's trying to, because like even the musical numbers So, like, some of them were atrocious. And some of the lyrics were obviously intended to be offensive. But then the stuff that was good was actually really good. And, like, some of the tunes were kind of catchy. But, like, there was the scene where the, what's she called? The lesbian, when she
Mickey.
is singing, Mickey, yeah, she's singing to the Colonel. And she can't hit a note to save her life. And, like, everyone on the cast is, like, looking at her and, like, what? Why are you singing? Stop singing. And she's just so bad at it.
Yeah, to be honest, they only gave her like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I did write down in my notes, because that scene where he joins the, starts working for the fried chicken conglomerate, he sings a line. Jesus said when he died, revenge is a dish best served fried. And that got a genuine chuckle out of me. It's offensive, but goddamn if that isn't a catchy line. So
Yeah, and I'd be very interested to see what the producer is doing now, and like the writers, because like we actually checked up on IMDb, and the producer, I forget his name.
Lloyd Kaufman. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, so Lloyd Kaufman, and he's Kaufman. He's still working today, and he has an incredible number of like titles to him. And he was also one of the writers.
And
so, like,
also appears in the film as an actor.
Yeah.
wearing a tutu and a thong with a Yankees tattoo on his butt. See, that's what that's what the problem is, because it wasn't like there was like the one macho like protagonist and he was all glory. Like, even the main characters sucked and were not free from scrutiny, basically. Everybody. And they were all terrible people. Like, they actually ended the movie on giving a young girl a can of beer, and like this was after he'd given the girl her mother's head, and then they'd run away with the little girl carrying her mother's head. Like,
yeah, there is no good
yeah.
person in this film at all.
no. And yeah.
I picked up on it pretty early after probably 3 or 4 people were named. Did you catch all the... I'm not going to name them, because obviously product promotion, how everyone was a parody name of a food chain.
Yeah.
For example, we had Taco Bell. We had Jared from the sandwich company.
Yeah. Who had a very horrible end that they just didn't address.
We had the General, not the Colonel. We had Red Lob.
They did say the line from one of the fried chicken companies.
They said, I'm loving it as well.
Yeah.
There was a lot of references, and there was even because he was doing like the Vietnam monologue, and they were like, oh, their eyes were black, and he was like talking, like doing the whole, I can't remember what that's a parody of. It's a war movie.
Every traumatic war film ever.
Yeah, exactly. But like they had, and like when the girl was sat there listening, and Wendy's, she's like, and like they did everything that was like so stereotypical, but then they also did the exact opposite of that, and like possibly the most offensive character in the movie was Hummus, and like everything she did was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But then they added all the goofy sound effects, which they must have added in post, like, because like all of the time they do like who and Scooby-Doo noises. Yeah, it was like watching an episode of Scooby-Doo.
Or a visual novel, you know, one of those English dubbed visual novels where they just have that filler sound effect instead of dubbing all the dialogue. You know?
It definitely felt like, especially the musical numbers were dubbed. But
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can see why because of the way that it was made. Although it had a decent budget.
Yeah, I think it clearly went all in the visual effects because it was very old school props, old school, lots of splatter and
They were
physical.
incredible, though.
Yeah. I
Like,
shudder
it's
to
like-
think how many takes it took with some of those, splatter effects and stuff because they painted
Yeah.
rooms. Absolutely painted rooms.
Or even the more gory scenes, like how much time and effort they had to take for that nice, perfect scene.
there was, because you had, like, they must have been animatronics for, like, the little chickens. And they were, like, gremlin level details.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and they were truly horrific. And some of the special effects were so bad, I had to look away. There was one or two bits where I genuinely like felt like I was gonna have to like grab a bucket. I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was certainly a lot of when the gore happens, it happens. And, if anyone's ever worked in a fast food joint, think of all the places you can get hurt. Yeah, they use it. Deep fry,
did.
they use it.
Use it
Grill,
well.
they use it. Grinder,
Meat
they use it.
Yeah.
Every way possible they use it. So yeah, probably give it a miss if you're squeamish.
Yeah, don't watch it if you're squeamish.
Or a good person, don't watch it. If you have
Just don't
morals,
watch
don't
it in
watch
general, to be honest.
Yeah, I think right because yeah, there's nothing like it though ever. Like, it's an experience I have never replicated. So I will admit this: I was the one who brought Poultrygeist to the TYG talks. It was me, Mashashi. I am the degenerate. Okay, I watched this when I was in uni, and I remember it being messed up. I did not remember it being this messed up. Okay, I was, yeah. Every time I've ever mentioned this movie to someone, they either have no idea what it is or they know exactly what it is. There is no in between, right? Because once you remember this movie, you won't forget it. Like, it's. Can you think of anything similar?
No. And that's
No,
the
not
amazing
really.
thing.
I remember Dance of the Dead, which was like one of the Dead franchise, and it was a bunch of high schoolers had to play music because the zombies stopped moving and started dancing. So they had to play music to stop the zombies from like getting them. And that is the only film which I have watched that is anywhere near this. And if you want us to
yeah.
watch Dance of the Dead, be sure to drop it in the comments and I'll find a copy somewhere, I'm sure. I might have a DVD of it somewhere.
Mash, can we watch a normal film for one of these? Just saying.
Yeah, just once.
People don't suggest normal films. The list they gave us is horrific.
I need to have words with people.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? Last one, it was the Little Mermaid.
The
Yep.
Little Mermaid was nice.
Ish.
Well, I guess that's been TYG Talks Poultrygeist. Would you guys recommend it to a friend?
If I never want to speak to them again, sure. They'll never talk to
Yeah.
me again after recommending that.
I feel like this is a type of movie that you would send to someone just before you block them.
I think there's a certain person we all know in our lives, though, who would find this film, not the offensive bits, throwing that out there, but, find this enjoyable. And I think Mash invited us on because we are that friend who would find this enjoyable. And I admit, I had a good time. Yeah.
It'll probably get us cancelled, but yeah, I actually really enjoyed it.
I mean, the good bits were good.
Yeah.
If we could like edit out all the bad stuff, then it would be a great movie that I would recommend to people. But yeah, you've got to leave all political correctness at the door, and it's not something I would ever admit to enjoying outside of just having done that I'm going to put on the internet for everyone to see.
I don't think I'll ever admit to actually watching it.
I don't think I'm going to watch it again, I'll put it that way. Like, it was an experience, and the ride was fun, but I did not appreciate enough to put myself through that again.
No.
No.
I'm just glad the songs weren't catchy enough to get stuck in your head, because that would just be the end of me. You suddenly start humming one of those songs out aloud, and they're like, "What's that from?" And you're like, "Oh, it's from this." Oh no, you do not want to watch this film. It's everything bad.
Oh god.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
See you next time on Getting Cancelled on TYG.
Yeah.
Until next time, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you all later, taters. Love you, bye!
Love you, bye.
Bye bye.